Welcome to this video in the sequence Writing Academic Papers in English Language Journals. In this video, I want to talk about the conclusion section of your paper. This video is written by and presented by Alan Roy, that's myself, of the Naresuan University Graduate School. So why is the conclusion important? Again, we look at the focus of your paper, the stream of ideas through your paper, which was established in the title, elaborated in summary form in the abstract and keywords, then discussed in the main body of your paper, and then arriving at the conclusions, all part of this stream of ideas through your paper. So your conclusion section is a wrap-up of the paper. It highlights again the main points of the paper without adding extra information. It retains the focus of the paper. Importantly, your conclusion section should not introduce new topics or new information or new theories. It should be about the content of the paper, only about the content of the paper, and nothing but the content of the paper. Your conclusion section is your last opportunity to ensure that your reader understands that your research was important and useful and was well done. Don't overdo it. Overblown claims can destroy your credibility. Often the conclusion section will have recommendations for future use or usefulness of your research and research results. Ask yourself, is my research useful? Are my research results important? The answer surely will be yes. Otherwise, why did you do it in the first place? You should be able to make final statements such as, given our results, we can confidently state that, or the outcomes of our project clearly indicate that, and can be confidently adopted by practitioners. So use bold words. The information gained in this research will inform future policy decisions. Don't say the information gained in this research may be, possibly could be, is perhaps useful to inform. So this is your last chance to review your article. If, as you are writing your conclusion section, you start to go into necessary discussion that is not covered in the main body of the document, then perhaps you need to add that discussion to the document. Or that discussion should be deleted from your conclusion. Remember, you do not introduce new information, new topics in the conclusion. So you ask yourself if your summarising of the paper reveals any weak arguments, any unclear process descriptions, and so on. And overall, the conclusion must clearly and obviously be seen to support the title, the abstract, the main theme of your paper. That is, the stream of information flowing through the document from beginning to end. Ask yourself, are my results of any use in the real world? The answer will be, must be, yes. So, although this may not be necessary, you can suggest any practical uses for your findings. For example, if you uncovered a link between diet and the speed at which children learn, you can suggest a short plan for ensuring that children receive good nutrition. If your research was undertaken in a tropical geographic zone, you can recommend that your findings can be usefully applied to any tropical zone. So what has your research shown? This is a very quick synopsis of the results and discussion. Writing a conclusion involves summing up the paper and giving a very brief description of the results, although you should not go into too much detail about this. That's all back there in the results section. Anybody reading the conclusion has probably read the entire paper so the conclusion merely acts as an aid to memory. Something else that you can show in your conclusion or answer the question, how has it added to the body of knowledge? This is where you tie your paper into the body of research highlighted in the introduction during the course of your literature review. You should then point out the importance of the study and point out how it relates to the field. Another thing that you put in your conclusion section is what were the shortcomings and limitations of your study, although sometimes this is discussed under a separate heading just prior to the conclusions section. So what were the shortcomings and limitations? Whilst writing the conclusion, you should highlight any deficiencies in your methods, explaining how they may have affected your results. For example, you might state that you understand that your sample was small due to very good reasons, but that might affect your results. You might make it clear that although your research was limited to Thailand, it is applicable to any other geographical area with similar climate, weather, topography, etc. Which is why I recommend that you don't include geographic areas or specific locations in your title and abstract. Highlighting the shortcomings and limitations will allow the next researcher to refine the methodology and learn from your mistakes, one of the foundations of the scientific process. Now, it is rare for a research project to be perfect without any need for modification or improvement. So don't be shy to admit your doubts, your concerns, your conceived limitations. It is better that you do this, clearly acknowledging your awareness of the problems before someone else does. And your limitations and shortcomings can in fact be the basis of a new research project. Has your research left some unanswered questions? Do your findings open up any suggestions for future research? You make comments on this in your conclusion. For a shorter paper, this is not always essential, but you can highlight any possible areas of interest and give us some ideas for researchers who might follow. Are my results of any use in the real world? Of course they are. So when you have finished writing the conclusion, you are almost at the end of your research paper and possibly the end of your research project. All that remains is to perform the proofreading and formatting. A little bit dull, but a sign that you are in the final stages. Proofreading, formatting, editing English expression. Yes, this is your final task. Poor English will result in immediate rejection of your paper, so get it checked and edited by a competent person. Your paper must conform to the formatting requirements of the journal. These might be quite strict. Use the Microsoft Word spelling and grammar checker F7. Oh dear, looks like I didn't use F7 on this. And the Grammarly grammar and syntax checker. Learn how to use Word properly. I published a short course on using Word. I recommend you check it out. You are now at the end of the focus stream. Now it is necessary for you to ensure that the main body of your paper is correct, readable, and well structured. This is where you need to understand correct grammar and syntax, sentence and paragraph structures, punctuation, and so on. There are further videos in this course which discuss the main body of the paper, sections, headings, information inclusions, and content structuring. But to study the specific English language requirements, you need to start studying the other graduate school online course in the One Stop English shop entitled Writing Academic English. So thank you for viewing these videos in the series on writing academic papers in English language journals. Thank you for viewing this video. You can download the PowerPoint slides for further study. Thank you very much.